Yo, what's going on, people? Hello, welcome to Critical Free.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Josh. Welcome.
Nice.
How's that then?
That was nice and clean.
Nice, right. Ooh, straight in, back
I
in.
know.
Like we've never
That's,
been
that's
away.
probably that's
Lovely,
probably the
lovely,
best intros we've done
lovely.
since after such a long break.
Literally, mate, yeah. Sick. Right, anyway, today, as you can tell by the thumbnail, the title, we are doing the Afterlife Season 2 review. We're both
Yeah.
massive fans of Ricky Gervais, I believe, and all his work. I don't think he's ever done a bad piece of work, apart from some episodes of extras, but we'll leave that there. Yeah, so, it's the perfect thing for me and Tyler to review because we're that passionate about it. We enjoyed it. That's a review straight off, and that's the end of the video. So
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks. Bye.
take care. We enjoyed it. No, so yeah, Tyler, do you want to start off with some pointers you have?
Definitely. I said obviously kind of going on what Josh said. We're both fans of Ricky Gervais. Obviously, kind of related to Ricky Gervais, I've obviously just finished watching The American Office. Also, me and Josh are massive fans of the Ricky Gervais show with the podcast Carl Pilkington. I'm a massive fan of obviously all of Carl Pilkington's stuff, Idiot Abroad, which also Ricky Gervais heavily produced and does feature in it. So yeah, and again, obviously he's come aboard on Netflix, Afterlife. We are on season 2. We never reviewed season 1 just because obviously at the time, I think when it came out last year, obviously we was just doing movies, and obviously as I mentioned in obviously my previous podcast where it was just me that cinemas closed, so we're kind of reviewing stuff on Netflix and streaming services at the minute. Yeah,
I've no choice.
So yeah, but yeah, Afterlife season 2. It's so good. It's great. It continues more or less straight from season 1. What are you laughing at?
No. It's so good. It's great.
It's probably one of Ricky Gervais's best things. It's up there with Derek because I love Derek. I thought Derek was great.
I love Derek.
That is that was more emotional than I thought. At first I thought, oh, it's just a gimmick, but it's not. Like the stuff with his dad, I think that still makes me shed a tear to this day.
Yeah. Mate, that's what he's so good at. He's so good at getting the fine line, the balance between comedy and realism and emotions. He's good at controlling your emotions whilst watching a series. That's what he's good at. Like writing and controlling how you feel. For sure. A lot of what happens in Afterlife and in Derek and things like that, it all whatever you've been through, if you've never been through anything, if you're watching it not having experienced anything of the sort of the themes in Derek, the themes in The Office, the themes in Afterlife, I guarantee you'll still get emotional. And don't know what it is, but it's just. It's just the madness. It's writing perfection right there.
The good thing with Ricky Gervais, obviously stuff with Derek and both the seasons of Afterlife is, to be fair, Derek even made my mum cry. So he's good with that emotion. He's really good at just kind of being very relatable, and he's good at kind of just playing the everyday kind of average person, and he's not. He's not David Brent. Do you know what I mean? It's so different to how it is. It's so real. And the thing with Ricky Gervais as well is he's a massive kind of... Obviously, a lot of his Twitter and a lot of his posts, even stuff about depression and the kindness of humanity, and obviously his love for the animals as well. Like, he can't stand anyone, being any horrible to animals, or, and he implements that in Afterlife and in Derek. Can't kind of stay away from Derek, but there's a point, and that's what makes it surreal.
There's a theme of dogs, isn't there?
He loves his pets. He's always nice to him in his shows and stuff like that, and even in some of the obviously podcasts he did with Carl Pilkington. Carl Pilkington's moaning about his cat, and he defends the cat straight away. You know, so but like I said, he implements all that, and I think Ricky Gervais is, even though I do find him funny, I think he's better at his emotional stuff because.
I think people are doing the 8 o'clock clap, mate.
Oh right, no mate, it's I'm a bull.
I was thinking, what is that? What is that noise? But it's people doing the 8 o'clock clap. So apologies for that.
That we're back. I mean, oh yes, critical free.
Oh yeah, critical free. Wow, what a review!
Yeah, we've not seen him since the bloody Oscars special.
Oscars, yeah. We thought he had been astounded by the fact that Parasite won. That he'd given up the ghost. That's it. Heart attacks.
Well, it's good straight away. A film called Pandemic or anything like that. I mean, that would have been too.
Oh wow.
Too scary.
Yeah, let's leave that there.
Back on.
Back on to Afterlife. So, have you got Tyler? Have you got a key moment in this series where you would say that was a standout moment, or would you say it all stood out, or was there a bit in the series where you found more funny than others, or more sad than others?
Yeah, there's the one thing that did change throughout it is how I felt towards the postman. At the beginning, I thought he's annoying, but by the end, I really quite liked the character. I thought it was alright. I ended up liking him in the end. I think one of the most standout moments was probably the last episode. There's so much in that last episode, and obviously the video clips with the wedding. Because it's kind of like when something happens, it goes back to the video clip, and it's kind of showing. It's imagery and feelings, and it's another way of looking at what's going on in his life at that moment in time. Again, spoiler, if you've not watched it, go and watch it and then come back and watch this review. I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't seen it already, but obviously where his dad passes away, he gets up and goes to dance with his wife. That there is kind of imagery, that fact it's like showing that the dad's gone with her. He's now in heaven with her, and they're dancing together. And Ricky Gervais is still left sat at the table. Obviously, he's still alive. He's still here with us, and that's probably one of my outstanding moments. But what about yourself?
I'm gonna go for the comedy side. Now, there is a scene within the series which is perfectly set up. I think this is comedy gold, 100%. Right. So it's a bit where they're talking about going to the show thing that they're running, and he pulls them into the office. I can't remember his name, but his brother-in-law, isn't it, or something like that. So he pulls them into the office and says, "Oh, I need to get out of going on a date with the woman in the office." And says, "Oh, could you threaten to kill yourself again?" That's just funny, right? Right. So hold on, whoa. That is the setup. That itself isn't funny, but now looking back at it is, okay, right? Yeah. So the setup is he's sat there at the desk, right? Mate, I laugh when I'm thinking about it. It's the jokest thing, right? So basically, his brother-in-law goes up to the woman and says, "Oh, I can't come to the thing with you now, the show with you now. I'm going actually with my wife and kids now, so I can't come." And then, is it Tony? Isn't it? His character, Ricky Gervais' character's name. Yeah, he parts up and says, "Oh, I'm planning on killing myself tomorrow." Oh, mate. And then it's like, what? And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just a sad joke." And he's just like, his brother-in-law's going mad, like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Oh, mate, that for me is just, mate, I couldn't stop laughing. I had to pause this show to just continue to laugh, man, because that was just perfectly set, man, I think. There's a couple of other funny moments within it, of course. But yeah, you're quite right in saying that the postman is definitely one of the better characters within the series
definitely.
now.
I'm just going to stop you there. I've quickly got Liam calling me
Go
on my phone. Terrible timing, Liam. There's your shout out.
Mate, answer it and get him on speaker and ask his review on Afterlife.
So, do you know what? I just missed him. If he rings back, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll get him on the podcast, ladies and gents. We'll get him on. Anyhow, so again, the postman is like perfect character, kind of what is needed to kind of add that little bit of an extra flair to the show for a second season, and the same goes for the sex worker as well. She's another good character within it. Always, what's funny is the sarcasm when she first knocks on the door, or she doesn't knock on the door, she just walks in.
What about I'm naked?
It's sat there with his toes. Yeah,
that's
mate,
that was really. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. You know that bit? That just reminded me of you. Because that's something you try explain it. I was watching Ricky Gervais. I was like, that's just Josh. If I walked in, like, what about I was naked? What about that?
Unreal. It's it, mate. Honestly, comedy genius and Ricky Gervais. That scene. There were so many scenes that Ricky Gervais pulls off. I think there'd be very limited actors that could pull off the comedy that's portrayed by Ricky Gervais, to be honest. Or very few actors.
Yeah. So the thing with Ricky Gervais is he's very sarcastic, but at the same time he's writing what he says because he's picking out faults that I think every human does. And to be fair, you're bugger for that and all. Like, I'll end up doing something, and then you'll be like, yeah, but Tyler, what about if this, you can't be doing that.
No, you're right, mate. I think this is why me and Ricky Gervais. I think if we met in real life, we'll get on. That's on fire.
You're definitely. Gervais, obviously, I know you're definitely a lot more bigger fan than what I am, but yeah, no. Like I said, there's so many, more humorous parts. I thought this one had a bit more humor than season 1, which I wasn't complaining about at all.
Well, you can tell, the reason why that is because the themes in the first one were a lot darker than the second season. There was still that running theme of him wanting to end it, essentially, for better words. But he doesn't have it all the time. Like the first season, it was every end of the episode was him another way of him trying to kill himself. So he was in the bathtub one time with the razor blade on it, and then he was he went in the sea. One episode at the end, he went to take some drugs. Like all that kind of running, and every single episode ended like that. So it was always kind of a downer. But then you wanted to see what happened in the next episode. Whereas this season, it was kind of the polar opposite, I feel. And a lot of the endings were kind of a little bit more cliffhangers, more than just ends. I think I felt like I wanted to watch.
That's why I watched. I ended up watching it all in one day. They all kind of ended where, obviously, some of it would have been relevant to whatever happened that day. Because it will always kind of go back to the wedding video, and obviously the fact that she can't sleep unless he says good night, and which that part is in, I think, about near midway through to the end, midway through, and then it comes back at the end, which makes quite for an intense moment.
Again, it's a brilliant setup. Really again, that's another thing that he's good at, is setting up punchlines, but sometimes it's not even a punchline. Sometimes it's a hard hitter. It's something where if you didn't have that little bit of backstory, it wouldn't hit home as much. And just going back to the whole emotion thing, how he controls your emotions, that's one. I suppose you could call it a technique of how he kind of controls your emotions, because that's something maybe you didn't pick up on first, but then when he brings it back and it hits home.
Yeah. So this is obviously another thing which is recurring through both seasons as well, is obviously Ricky Gervais and his mate, I don't know the character's name, obviously they interview people for the newspaper, And obviously you've got the one segment in season 2 where he's interviewing this guy where he's been posting the letters in a dog waste bin for a year, which which is brilliant. That's one of my most funny moments because it's just because
that like almost subpar with the woman who makes is it rice pudding out of a titty milk and yeast out of a.
I don't remember.
Yeah, in the first series, she makes rice pudding out of breast milk, and then something out of the yeast of a damn below bits. Mate, and they're both true things. They're both things that he found out about, and he had to put in the series. Mate, it's absolutely true. That's subpar for the whole letterbox.
That's what I mean. You have something like that, which is a bit gross. It's funner, and then you also have the bit where, and again, season 2, where he has that woman who's, I think it's on about, is it his wife and his daughter, and the guy goes, I don't get what she's on about, and he says, basically, they both died, and she just wants to put the name in the paper so like they're not forgotten.
Something to do with cat.
It's woman with a cat, but obviously, basically, they both passed away. This woman, I'm sure it's daughter and her husband, and obviously she's grieving, and he could sympathise and knows exactly what kind of she's going through, and she wants them to stay. Like, I can make you food, I make you tea, and they try to get out of the house. And Ricky Gervais looks back and he goes and gives her a hug, and he says, "What were the names again?" And he puts it in the paper for him because, it's something like that. It's it's funny at first because you just think this woman's a bit deluded. Yeah, she's talking rubbish, but and then it hits you hard again because you understand and you feel also sorry for her, but you feel sorry for Ricky at the same time. And it's stuff like that. It's some really nice moments, and I think that's what Ricky Gervais does best in both of these series, and that's what I like so much about it. Yeah,
the balance, man. So yeah, obviously you have a point about the ending. Do you want to kind of add a discussion on that?
I'm happy to kind of go on towards the ending now because obviously the ending is the big bit for me because we both have different views on it. I'll go first. So I'll see the ending. And again, throughout the series, as we've mentioned already, they keep going back to this wedding video. Obviously, his wife's okay. His dad's also in the video. I think it's his second last episode. His dad passes away. Which again is another big part in both series. It's massive. He sees him every day, and he handles that. If he handles it quite well, but again, it still hurts him because now, seeing his dad every day, that's going to be stopped, and it goes back to the video, and the dad gets up and goes off to dance with the wife, as I mentioned earlier, to kind of represent that they've now both passed on to heaven. They're both dancing up in heaven. That's kind of what that's imagery. Ricky Gervais still sat at the table. Then it obviously goes, Ricky Gervais kind of has a breakdown, and he finds these pills at the side of the sofa that he tried before. And the dog's barking at him, he's breaking down, he opens it, he pours it into his hand, and he's going to take these pills. That's what it's leading to. And then obviously out of nowhere, the nurse from the home knocks on the door, basically kind of saves his life and says, I'm happy to, whatever this relationship is, I'm happy for, because he can't commit because he feels like he's cheating on his wife who's died. He's not ready yet, but she's happy to accept that. So that's the ending. Now for me, even though I want another series and I love it, I wanted him to take the pills for the simple fact that I wanted him to get up off that wedding table and go and dance with his dad and his missus. I thought that would have been a beautiful way of imagery in a way to... You shouldn't have seen him do it. You should have just there knocking, and then next minute it cuts straight to the wedding video. He gets up to dance. He dances with his wife and dad, and then obviously the nurse just walks away from the door. That's how I would have ended it.
I think it ended perfectly, and the pure reason why I say that is because the fact that could have been done. That's an easy exit. It's an easy exit for the series to end.
But I don't know. I don't think that is easy. I think that's hard.
Why? Mate, you thought of that in a matter of 30 minutes. That's an easy exit. I think he did well to find a way of continuing the series, because that'd have been an easy way to end it.
It's also quite beautiful and symbolic in a way as well, if it was to be done like that.
Oh yeah, but it's beautiful and symbolic anyway, as you've explained. It doesn't need that shock factor at the end that happened for it to have,
Well, no,
for that symbolic thing to
I
have
wouldn't
meaning.
say, I wouldn't put the shock factor. Obviously, I guess it would shock a few, people who are watching it. Like I'm happy it's staying on. I do want to watch another series. Like I said, I like it, but I just think it would have been lovely if he got up off the wing table and dance. Don't get me wrong. These back in mind thinking, well, kind of where do you go from here? You don't want it to get stale. You don't want the same stuff to be repeated.
I feel like there's enough built on characters now, to continue another series, and also maybe add a few other characters in, to kind of stir the pot about as well. I do feel like there's definitely at least one more series to go, and I feel like at the end of the next series it will end on a happy note and he'll leave it there, because I think Derek had 3 seasons.
Like I will be happy if it did end on a happy note. Especially with the kind of subject of mental health. It's mental health is one of those things where it's become massive. Especially over mid 2000s up to now. It's a lot more recognised thing. It can be a touchy subject, and there's so many different variations of it, and people go through mental health differently. So much. Speaking, kind of for myself, that's suffered mental health, and even been prescribed tablets of it and all that kind of stuff. Like, if he was to die in that last episode, it is kind of, it would have been kind of, I thought it would, the way Victor was saying, look, it is serious. This stuff does happen. Like, everyone fell in love with Ricky Gervais, his character in that. There was a lot of sympathy for what he did, and he did do really well to try and come out of it. But if it did beat him in the end, that's not a bad thing. It's sad, but it's kind of saying, look, to some people, some people can't beat it.
I feel like it is a bad thing if he had killed himself, because, and the reason why I say this is because the character had so many people around him there to help. Okay, which you see through the series. Yeah. So if he had killed himself, okay, what sort of role model, in a sense, would that give someone who is going through mental health? Because this guy, this character had so many people around him, and this is what you're constantly told when you suffer with mental health. You've got people around you, reach out, they're there to help, blah blah blah. Okay, if he had topped himself off with the support there that he had, then I don't want to say them, that's bad, but maybe, possibly, for people with mental health, that could set a bad role model, because it's like, oh, we had the people there, no one helped him, so he still did it. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I feel like it would be a bad role model, and what he's done now is a positive role model.
By all means, his friends there supporting him. You can see what changes it does. And I totally support that. Again, going from my own experiences, I'm happy to say on camera now, happy to say, to anyone, you and Liam and a few other people, I've always said, save me when I've been down, because I've had my friends there support, and if it wasn't for my friends, like I said, it's helped me massively. Obviously, we're talking nearly a year, 2 years ago, so it was a while, it was a long time ago from that. And obviously I agree with you there. The friends, the effect that has on him, is massive, and it does help. And I'll say to anyone, who does suffer mental health, is do reach out for your friends, because your friends will always be there and they do a lot for you. And like I said as well, even though I'm kind of sat here thinking, oh, if he killed himself, it would have been a good ending. At the same time, I do conflict in the fact that I'm glad he didn't do that, because his wife wouldn't want him to do it, and that would have been really sad, because obviously his wife died of cancer, and his dad had Alzheimer's, and obviously he went by killing himself. So in that sense, you look at it that way, I'm kind of glad he didn't do that. because it's not nice. Like I said, it's a very hard subject, and like I said, his friends are there. So I do agree on what you're saying on some point, but I'm just also saying that in some cases, it don't always turn like that,
Yeah, but this is that's what people know. People know that
Yeah.
that's the case. They don't need that
No,
ramming down the throat because that is not a positive message at all.
no,
You wanna put people. It tends to be if it's a negative
yeah,
message, people shut off. People they're like, oh, I can't deal with that. It's too sad. I can't deal with it. Right? If it's a positive message, if it's a
yeah,
positive thing come from it, okay, people will. I feel like it would attach more. It would
yeah,
stick more. That this is what it is because, like I say, people shut
yeah.
down on negativity, man. And it's true. And if that is how it ended, I feel like people would have just been probably
Yeah, it
angry
would. It definitely
with
would
the
be
outcome. I
interesting to
feel.
see what
So,
people's reviews on it would have been. Like I said, this I was expressing my thought at the time. Like I'm glad it's going, and
mm,
I love the positivity from both of the series, and that's what the emotional parts are. And like I said,
mm,
and I'm glad to do another one. Like I said, my point of view at that, and kind of how I said it should end was it was just more kind of not movie based because it's not a movie, but do you know what I mean? It's like look at the end of Filth where James McAvoy hangs up hanging himself, but the person who can save his life is at the door, but he ends up
mm.
overslipping and basically ends up killing himself. It would have been kind of like copy for
Mm.
copy ending to that. So
Yeah, I feel like it's a very unique ending what he did because not many people, like I say, a lot of people choose the easy way out, which is to kill the character off and it's done. That's it. They don't have to make a second
yeah,
film. They don't have to make a second series. That's it. They're done. So that's that for me. It would have been an easy way out. Whereas, it. For example, if
mm,
McAvoy's character got saved, then there was an
yeah.
opportunity for a
Because I
second
I watched that film and
film.
it annoys me the fact that he wasn't saved. Like I really wanted him to be saved, and I probably think that's how I would have
Mm,
felt if Ricky Gervais did die. But I'm just saying,
mm.
the
Yeah,
whole
as well.
the whole thing that got it for me was the wedding bit. Because his wife and his dad were dancing, and he would not move off that table throughout
Mm,
the whole series. And because obviously with them
mm,
both dying, at the end you feel his pain in the fact that you want him to be dancing with him because it's kind of like he's rejoining him. Do you know what I mean? But it would have been the wrong way, I guess, to join him. To join him.
Do you maybe think that it was set up for him not to kill himself
Oh
all
yeah,
along because he constantly said, "I would
yeah,
never get
yeah,
up to
exactly.
dance, never
Yeah,
get
that's
up
what
to
I mean. He
dance."
does.
So
He does not move from
that
the
kind of,
table the whole series. So, but the thing is, because of that, because they're wanting him up so much, you're kind of with him. Because you kind of want him to rejoin. Obviously, him killing himself would not have been a nice way for him to rejoin. But do you know what I mean? It just the image of seeing
mm,
Ricky Gervais dance with his wife and dad again. It would have been a
mm,
beautiful thing, and in that sense, in all the sadness and obviously killing himself and kind of not the best way if it did end that way, you would have had that beautiful image of the fact that you still would have been happy that he would have been reunited with them. So yeah, it was just
mm,
that's what I was reminded. Like I said, two totally different endings. Obviously, mine and Josh's. I do agree with what Josh is saying, and I am happy that we are getting another series, which he confirmed the other day. But
mm.
like I said, it was just another way of possibly looking at it, and just that kind of thing. So hopefully, I've not offended
Yeah.
anyone with going down that route.
Well, I feel like we probably need to call it at this point 'cause I feel like we have been talking a long time. Really, there's a couple of points I would like to touch
Yeah,
on longer, um, but I feel like it's long enough episode already, isn't
yeah,
it?
we're
Really?
touching on 29 minutes. So
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like maybe we
yeah,
should call it there, and possibly me and Tyler might have a discussion after, and we'll see if a part two's in order. See if we've got
yeah,
enough content to make a part two. Because for me, it would be nice to explore maybe more of season one in a part two,
yeah,
perhaps something like
definitely.
that. having just done season 2. So yeah, we'll have a think over it, and we might come back. Obviously, we've got very limited things to do videos on, so the chances are we'll do it because we need the content. We need the content. But
yeah,
do you want to end it, Tano?
You started it. So yeah, going off with Josh. If you want to see us do season 1, or if you want to see us talk about it more, you can leave the comments below. We're more than happy to talk about it in the comments if we don't end up doing a video. There's not enough content. Was your view completely different? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Josh? Let us know. So leave that comment. And again, while you're at it, hit subscribe if you haven't already. But again, thanks for watching. This is Critical 3. This is me and Josh this time. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yeah. Take care, people.